is educational and fun. It gives the kids a chance to work on something that was actually used 150 years ago. Besides, it's blowing up pumpkins.
But don't try this at home.
No, these are professionals.
Yes. That would be fun, though.
Don't use a torpedo to blow up your pumpkin.
Well, it's not like you have a Civil War era torpedo.
No,
in your
I don't.
basement.
I lost my last one. All right, we're out of time for now. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you back here again tomorrow. News 3 Now at 5. Don't blow up those pumpkins. Starts right now.
Right now, the Indiana truck driver into a school bus full of children on the interstate is sentenced. We'll tell you how long he'll be behind bars.
Plus, changes are coming for one of the busiest intersections in downtown Madison.
And how Madison's top firefighter helped save a life over the weekend while he was off the clock.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 5.
And first tonight, breaking news from our Channel 3000 Alert Center. The Sun Prairie Middle School has been evacuated after a call about a natural gas leak. According to Dane County Dispatch, that call came in about 3:45. The information limited right now. We do have a crew on the way. Be sure to stay with News 3 Now and Channel 3000 for more updates.
Also breaking right now, the Richland Center police chief has just resigned. 40-year-old Lucas Clements is facing sexual assault and theft charges. It has been months since he was put on paid leave during an investigation. Moments ago, the police commission just approved the resignation, and we'll have an update tonight on News 3 Now at 6.
20 and a half years. That's how long Wayne Murphy will spend in prison for slamming his big rig into a parked school bus on the interstate.
He was found guilty of 30 counts, including 10 felonies, 2 for each of the 5 middle schoolers seriously hurt. Our Amanda Quintana is live in Columbia County, where the sentencing just finished. Amanda?
Yes, well, although Murphy keeps calling this an accident, the judge says this was no accident. This could have been prevented, and he says that Murphy is not taking responsibility for it. Today, we heard from a student, a middle schooler from the Milwaukee area, who had to be transported to the hospital by helicopter after that crash last May. Now, he says he's too scared to ride the school bus. Mothers saying it was the scariest day of their life getting that call. The prosecution saying many of the children still have nightmares, still have injuries, and one of the girls who suffered a traumatic brain injury will never be the same, saying still Murphy has seemed unremorseful.
Although one thing is yet to answer in this case is the bus and its condition was why the kids were put on a bus that was faulting for a week before setting off across the state for the field trip.
Any of that had absolutely nothing to do with you and your activities that day. Whether you hit this bus at that location or whether you hit another vehicle on the roadway before, during, or after this event is all on you.
How sorry are you?
Murphy's mother and brother spoke on his behalf today, calling him a good person who just might not show his emotion, but they know he is sorry. But the judge says Murphy's statement, quote, submarined theirs, Murphy having the audacity to try to blame others, even trying to blame the state for not giving him a good enough plea deal. But the judge says he gave him a sentence for each of those victims that he seriously hurt, saying them and their families all deserve justice.
Amanda Quintana reporting live. Amanda, thank you.
The mayor of Milwaukee says an acid attack on a Latino-American citizen is a horrific hate crime that should have never occurred. A 61-year-old man now in custody in connection with the acid attack. Police say Mahmoud Villalaz was left with second-degree burns after he says a man doused him with acid. This happened on Friday night. An argument between the men allegedly started because of parking, but it escalated. Villalaz, who is Latino, says the suspect asked him why he came to the U.S. illegally. He told the man he's a U.S. citizen. Milwaukee Mayor Tom Barrett calling the crime an action that, quote, every single elected official should condemn.
Single out someone because they're from a Hispanic origin is simply wrong. And we know what's happening. Everybody knows what's happening. It's because the president's talking about it on a daily basis that people feel they have a license to go after Hispanic people, and it's wrong.
have you talked with...
Charges are expected to be presented to the DA's office in the coming days.
A former Madison hospital worker will spend 4 years in prison and 3 years on extended supervision for possession of child pornography. 39-year-old Patrick Manning was arrested in January of 2018 and charged with 19 felony counts. According to a criminal complaint, investigators found more than 2,000 images of violent child pornography showing infants or toddlers on his computer. A judge has ordered that he not have contact with any non-family member under the age of 18.
All right, as you get your work week underway, let's see what the weather has in store for us. Your first alert forecast, meteorologist Dana Fulton. Dana?
I think a lot of people right now resetting as the night's starting a little earlier. As we look outside, sunset happening just a little bit ago, the cloud coverage building on in. So your Monday evening is going to be a little cool outside and a little dark. The good news, nothing falling from the sky for us throughout Day and Orient counties. We do have some light mix currently up towards Viroqua and Camp Douglas. Over the next few hours, we're in for quite a cold night. Temperatures are going to fall to the mid to upper 20s. Tuesday will bring some sunshine, but our next event could be some accumulating snowfall for Tuesday night into Wednesday. An alert day is in the forecast for Wednesday morning. We'll take a closer look at what is ahead for the rest of the work week in just a few minutes.
All right, Dana, thank you. Changes are coming for one of the busiest intersections in Madison.
John Nolan Drive and South Blair Street are set to undergo a major construction project in 2022. But first, the city wants to hear from you. Jamie Perez is live at the intersection now. And Jamie, what is the city expecting to hear from the people of Madison?
The city actually wants all of your opinions on how to make this extremely busy intersection a little bit safer. Now, some of the things that they're considering doing is adding a couple of left turn lanes and also adding some more pedestrian street lighting. This is, again, one of the busiest intersections in Madison. And based on a study done from 2011 to 2015, there were about 92 reported crashes here. 46 of those were rear end collisions and 9 of them were bike crashes. Like I mentioned, the city wants public input on how this can improve. I asked an avid biker and longtime Madison resident what she thought could improve this area, and her main concern was making enough space for bikers and pedestrians who have to get across this busy intersection.
Island right there is full of people, and people are queuing up right here to try and cross onto the island because you have to do it as a two-stage crossing. You can't do it on one light. So people get stuck in the middle. They get stuck on the curb and then they get stuck in the middle and there's not enough space, and people sort of flow over onto the path.
City of Engineering says safety is the #1 priority here, and they're hoping to start working on this by 2022. Now, tonight is your chance to tell the city what your opinions are, how you think this road can be improved, how they can increase safety. That meeting is happening tonight at the Madison Municipal Building at 6:30, room 153, if you would like to voice your opinion.
All right, important discussion. Jamie, thank you. Following record snowfall for October, Governor Tony Evers has declared this week Winter Awareness Week in Wisconsin. The governor's office urging people to keep those emergency kits in their cars in the event they get stranded. Those kits, he says, should have a shovel, extra gloves and hats, kitty litter or sand to help you get any traction if you get stuck on some icy roads. Also be sure to have your furnace or wood-burning stove inspected, and if you shovel or use a snow blower, the experts say make sure you're in good health and that your machine is as well.
You've got bad fuel, fuel that sits over the summertime, and that's when it really starts to go poorly quickly. So the first thing that I always encourage people to do is get fresh fuel, and what that means is anything that's 30 days old or newer.
On average, there are about 18,000 vehicle crashes in the state each year caused by poor winter driving conditions. You can cut down that number simply by slowing down, give yourself and others a little more space on the road, and of course, not driving while distracted.
City officials are reminding Madison residents that pumpkins can be discarded alongside leaves and yard waste for streets division crews to collect. Pumpkins have valuable nutrients that are better suited for composting than disposal in the landfill with other trash. They say residents should put their pumpkins, gourds, and other natural decorations on top of leaf piles or leaf bags.
Madison's top firefighter helped save a life over the weekend while he was off duty.
Fire Chief Steve Davis responded to his neighbor's house, but he's crediting their family with the save. Our Rose Schmidt is here to share the chief's message for anyone who may find themselves in a similar situation. Rose?
So Chief Davis is a pretty good person to live near when you're caught in the middle of an emergency, and that's what happened Saturday afternoon. Davis says his neighbor came to his house and said she needed help because her son-in-law wasn't breathing. The man's wife was giving CPR when Davis got there, and the chief hooked up his defibrillator, or AED, and gave the man a shock. Paramedics arrived on the scene, and the man is expected to now be okay. The chief says he didn't know that man personally because he was just visiting, but Davis's years as a firefighter just kicked in.
I really don't think I can personally take any credit because it's, training that I've received from the department over the years and experiences that led to that. Like I said, the gentleman's wife did a spectacular job just doing what she did.
The chief says he had never used an AED while off duty until this weekend. And actually, the last time he used one was probably almost a decade ago. But he says it's just like riding a bike for him. And he says if there are any lessons to be learned in this situation, it's the importance of knowing how to do hands-only CPR. And he wants people to download the Pulse Point app and help respond to someone who is not breathing and in need of CPR.
He is a very humble guy.
Definitely,
Thank goodness he was there. Thank you, Rose. Cher has extended her Here We Go Again tour, and she's coming back to the Badger State. Cher will be performing at the Kohl Center on April 9th, 2020. Tickets for Cher's show will go on sale for the general public on Friday. City Card members and fan club members will have access to purchase pre-sale tickets starting tomorrow. Cher will also perform at the Resch Center in Green Bay on April 13th.
Well, sports news this afternoon. The Brewers making some moves. Pitcher Chase Anderson traded to the Toronto Blue Jays in exchange for infielder Chad Spanberger. The Crew has exercised its 2020 club option for catcher Manny Pena and declined Eric Thames' club option. A bit of a surprise there, so that Thames can now become a free agent and go wherever he wants. The Brewers have reinstated pitcher Corey Knebel and Bobby Wall from the 60-day injury list. Knebel, you remember, missed all of the 2019 season after having elbow surgery. Bucks forward Giannis Antetokounmpo is the NBA's Eastern Conference Player of the Week. Led the Bucks to a 4-2 start, 27 points, about 14 rebounds a game. He had 36 points, 15 rebounds, 8 assists, and 4 blocks in a win in Milwaukee over the Raptors on Saturday. This is the 10th time that Giannis has been the Player of the Week in his career. He won it 6 times last year in his MVP season.
Wisconsin volleyball's Dana Retke is the Big Ten Player of the Week. She helped the Badgers stay perfect in Big Ten play with 17 kills against Maryland last week, as well as 5 blocks against Indiana. The number 3 ranked Badgers return to the court on Friday as they face Ohio State in Columbus.
Some of those highlights don't even look fair to play against her.
Seriously.
Unbelievable.
Well, still ahead tonight at 5, the latest on the impeachment inquiry as the House releases transcripts of closed-door testimonies.
Plus, why nearly 500 prisoners in Oklahoma are all being released on the same day. And then coming up tonight at 6, UW Housing Dining Services is getting a helping hand with food delivery for some pretty innovative technology. We'll tell you how it works tonight at 6. And stocks hit a record high today. All 3 major indices, the Dow, the S&P, the NASDAQ, finish at record highs. Markets around the world also trading higher on hopes the U.S. and China will reach a full trade agreement. We'll be right back. Wheels are in motion for the City of Madison's bus rapid transit plan.
Right now, transportation planners are meeting to talk about how the future system will look. And that is where we find our Madeline O'Neill live at the City County building. Maddie?
Hi there. Well, the Transportation Policy Planning Board's meeting is just getting started here. They're talking about potential routes downtown that would be associated with the bus rapid transit system. Now, it's in its early stages, but it would go from East Town to West Town with dedicated lanes and limited stops to make things move a bit more quickly. It's part of the mayor's larger Metro Forward plan, which is aiming to decrease travel times and congestion on city roads as our population is projected to increase. Transportation officials expect the bus rapid transit system's operating cost will be anywhere from $3.5 to $4.5 million a year. Now that the $40 wheel tax is passed for vehicle owners in the city's transportation director says the city will have an easier time securing a federal grant next year. That additional vehicle registration fee will raise about $7.8 million a year. $1.4 million of that will go directly to the bus rapid transit system. Now, coming up at 10, we'll have more on where the rest of that money from the wheel tax goes, along with where transportation officials land as far as routes downtown goes here.
Well, the House is moving into the next phase of the impeachment inquiry. The committees leading the probe released witness transcripts from closed-door depositions.
Meanwhile, 4 White House officials were no-shows today despite congressional subpoenas for testimony. The president hosted the World Series champion Washington Nationals at the White House. It comes after several House committees released the transcripts from former ambassador to Ukraine, Maria Yovanovitch, and former State Department official Michael McKinley. House committees say they plan to release transcripts on a rolling basis, with the next 2 being those of Ambassadors Kurt Volker and Gordon Sondland.
And a federal appeals court in New York says President Trump's tax returns can be turned over to state criminal investigators. That decision upholds a lower court ruling. The Manhattan District Attorney sought the records that include payments made to buy the silence of 2 women who claim they had affairs with the president before the 2016 presidential election. The ruling is certain to be further appealed. Police in Texas have released a photograph and new information on the double murder of a New Hampshire couple. Their bodies were found buried on a beach just outside Corpus Christi. Police want to speak to 2 people of interest in the case. It's connected to the mysterious deaths of James and Michelle Butler, who were found buried on a beach on Padre Island. The district attorney says the pair was caught on surveillance video crossing the U.S.-Mexico border in the victim's truck and RV. He says it's still possible other people are involved.
More than 450 inmates walked out of prisons across Oklahoma today. They all had convictions for low-level nonviolent crimes, and a new law made them misdemeanors retroactively. 3 years ago, Oklahomans voted to make these low-level crimes misdemeanors instead of felonies, but people convicted before the law changed did not benefit. This year, the state legislature decided to give those prisoners a chance to get their sentences commuted and be released early. Governor Kevin Stitt had made reducing Oklahoma's highest in the nation incarceration rate one of his top priorities, and he anticipates by the end of the year there will be 2,000 empty prison beds.
First alert weather now. The chill's going to stick with us a bit. Maybe some more snow as well. Dana Fulton joins us with the forecast. Dana?
Temperatures are just going to continue to drop. Right now, thankfully, we have a dry sky, becoming partly cloudy overnight, so this cloud coverage breaking apart a little bit. No moisture falling for anywhere, most of southern Wisconsin up towards Camp Douglas and La Crosse. We do have a few light drizzle spots. This is all as a second cold front passes on through overnight into Tuesday morning. The good news, it's really weak. It's not going to bring any moisture along with it. We're not looking at any shower chances overnight or for early on Tuesday. It's just going to be a little windy outside tomorrow behind that cold front. Temperatures are also going to be even cooler in the afternoon. We'll drop quite a bit. By Tuesday night, our next system starts to approach. The cloud coverage builds in later in the evening, so after your commute, and then the snow coverage starts to pick on up Tuesday night into early Wednesday morning. The timing of the system has kind of moved back just a little bit. It does seem more like a midnight to early Wednesday morning that will have this light snowfall passing through. The center of the system is going to come right along the state line. If it lifts a little further north, then we'll be looking at more rainfall around Janesville and Beloit, warmer temperatures along the state line. If it pulls a little further south, then we'll be looking at a little more snow coverage throughout southern Wisconsin. By Wednesday morning, the system's pretty much out of here, and those snow chances exit along with it. Overnight temperatures, of course, falling through the 20s with that partly cloudy sky. When we break up the cloud coverage, it lets us fall just a little bit more. Tomorrow, it's going to be mostly sunny. sunny. It really should be a pleasant afternoon. Don't let the sun deceive you, though. It is going to be a little colder outside. High temps will be in the mid to upper 30s for Tuesday, with a breeze coming from the west, anywhere from 10 to 20 miles per hour. The light snow chances start to pick up along the southwestern corner of the state first late Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. Again, we may see a little wintry mix or rainfall right along the state line. Most of the area, though, is looking at snow coming on through. It really depends on how close that center of the system passes to our state line or if it lifts a little further north. For Wednesday morning, if you do have an early commute, it's likely going to be a little messy outside, so we do have an alert day. And for Wednesday, the snow might still be coming on down, and of course any wintry mix that's possible leads to a little slicker conditions on the roadways. Mostly cloudy skies throughout the day on Wednesday. Even once the snow leaves, our breeze coming from the northwest. It's going to be much colder outside for Wednesday, Thursday, and then into Friday also. Snowfall totals right now seem to cap out at about 2 inches. Areas to the south where we won't see as much snow, we might see a little rain to eat away at that accumulation. Likely going to stay at just about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch, but around most of Dane County and Madison, anywhere from 1 inch to 2 inches likely into Wednesday morning. High temperatures tomorrow will be close to 37 in Madison. Areas a little further south will be in the upper 30s, looking towards Sun Prairie. Plan on temperatures again in the mid 30s for our afternoon highs. So quite a bit cooler outside. Upper 30s for Tuesday and Wednesday. We do have that alert day in the forecast, of course, for Wednesday. But the good news for Thursday and Friday, we're in the upper 20s with some sunshine. If we didn't have the sunshine, it would feel even colder outside. Our temperatures start to rebound by the weekend. We're in the upper 30s again for Saturday and Sunday, even though that still is below average. And then looking ahead to next week, the cool air continues on and does seem likely that we're going to have a few more chances for some snow build on in. As far as the roads are concerned right now, the good news, no major accidents to report. Here's a look at the Beltline at Rimrock. Everybody has their headlights on right now, both east and westbound. Moving along okay. The eastbound side, though, just a little slower than westbound. Those delays starting to pick up once you get past Park Street and continue all the way through John Nolan. Downtown doesn't look too bad. And then around Janesville, we aren't seeing any major delays. You should be fairly smooth on 39 and 90 all the way down to the state line. That's a quick look at traffic.
All right, thanks, Dana.
Still ahead on News 3 Now at 5. One university introducing a program that is training students in the field of medical marijuana. We'll explain after a break. While some students study engineering or business in grad school, now some universities around the country are starting to offer courses in medical marijuana.
Nicole Killian visits the country's first master's program in Maryland.
Brandon Coleman works at this dispensary, but his interest in medical cannabis is also personal. He uses it to treat his epilepsy.
That's a unique perspective because I can take what I use on a daily basis and apply it to other people's conditions.
This is the product in its raw form.
Exactly, and this is what we would call flower or bud.
From weed to joints.
So this is an example of a pre-roll.
And edibles.
It tastes like half and half lemonade and tea put together.
He oversees the inventory, but now wants to take his career to a new high.
To kind of build that foundation of legitimacy and educating patients on a daily basis.
He's among 150 students taking part in the country's first master's program in medical cannabis.
I'm legit.
There is a significant need for medical cannabis education.
Most pharmacy schools. Dean Natalie Eddington says the 2-year program at the University of Maryland School of Pharmacy is for novices and professionals.
I think we have 6,000 or so regular patients that come through our doors.
It covers everything from drug policy to clinical care and the science behind 2 compounds found in marijuana.
How CBD or THC or both are used in the treatment of certain disease states, and to know the drug-drug interactions.
33 states and the District of Columbia have legalized some form of marijuana, and business is budding. The number of full-time cannabis jobs is projected to surpass the 200,000 mark this year.
How much of a knowledge gap do you feel is in this industry
It's
right
huge.
now?
It's huge, and that's why this program is so monumental.
A monumental step in the medical marijuana field that's only expected to grow. Nicole Killian, CBS News, Ellicott City, Maryland.
And stay with us. We'll have another check of your forecast in just a moment.
Tonight on the CBS Evening News, key impeachment testimony is released to the public. And another legal setback for President Trump as a federal court rules he must turn over tax returns to prosecutors. And an 11-year-old boy honors fallen first responders 1 mile and 1 hero at a time. You do not want to miss this story. We've got more tonight on the CBS Evening News.
And a cold night is on the way.
Yeah, it's going to be a little chilly outside tomorrow morning, and over the next few days, our temperatures actually are going to continue to fall. Plan on highs in the upper 30s for Tuesday afternoon. With a partly sunny sky, snow showers start to develop at night, so an alert day is in the forecast for Wednesday. It will likely still be snowing for your morning commute. The rest of the day, though, as temps climb into the 30s, that'll eat away at the snowfall. Thursday and Friday, though, unseasonably cold. We're in the upper 20s.
All right, we're back in 30 minutes. Stay tuned now for the CBS Evening News.